This eyeshadow tutorial contains the basics every beginner needs when it comes to eyeshadow application. And after watching this, you would surely be able to apply and blend your eyeshadow flawlessly. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, leave down your questions, and please subscribe to my channel. And now, let's begin. First thing you want to do are your brows, and for this I used only a pencil and a concealer to define my brows and also prep my eyelids. You want to make sure there are no creases on your eyelids before you apply your eyeshadow, so make sure you blend those away by tapping on your eyelids using your beauty sponge before applying any eyeshadow. So this is the first eyeshadow you will be working with, and this is a matte eyeshadow. This is what you will be applying just right underneath your eyebrows. You'll be needing a very fluffy brush for this, and you'll be using a swiping motion to apply this underneath your brows, using a back and forth motion to apply the first eyeshadow, which is a matte eyeshadow. For any eyeshadow look, you always want to start with a matte eyeshadow first as your transition shade. Now there's a right and wrong way of holding your blending brush as a beginner. You don't want to hold it close to the bristles of the brush. It makes blending harder and it creates harsh lines and harsh blending. You want to hold it like a wand, that is, you want to hold it at the tail end of the blending brush. This makes blending easier and it creates a soft blend. Now back to blending, you want to use swiping motion back and forth to apply your transition shade. And remember, your transition shade is always a matte finish. You don't want to apply a shimmery shade as a transition shade. You want to use back and forth motion, and you want to repeat this step a couple of times until you're satisfied with how it looks. Moving on to the next eyeshadow. This is also a matte eyeshadow, and this color is darker than the first one we used. As a beginner, you might have just one blending brush, so what I like to do is just to wipe off the first eyeshadow and then I reapply the next one. So like I said before, the first eyeshadow is a yellow tone, the second one can be a orange tone, which is a little bit darker than the first one. And you don't want to apply this right where we applied the first transition shade. You want to apply this in your eye socket area. The first one was right underneath the brows. The second one, which we are applying now, will be in the socket of your eyes. Just as you see in this tutorial, I am using my brush to apply this below the first transition shade. That is what you need to know. You need to apply the second one just below the first one. And the next one we will be applying is this dark brown shade, and this one goes on the outer part of the eyes, not into your transition area, just on the outer part of my eyes. That is the outer V area of the eyes, as you can see in this tutorial. And I'll be using a dense blending brush for this. This brush is best for applying darker tones, and this is where you want your darker shade to get to. You don't want to bring it to the inner corners of the eyes. This look, we are only going to focus the darker tones on the outer part. And then picking up the first brush I used, I'm just going to use this to blend out any harsh lines before moving to the next eyeshadow. I'll be applying this black eyeshadow on top of the brown eyeshadow. So when it comes to working with black eyeshadow as a beginner, you don't want to immediately go into the black shade first. You want to work with the brown first and then you go into the black. What this does is that it makes blending easier and it removes harsh lines, because when you go into the black shade first, it's just too harsh and it is harder to blend as a beginner. Using the brown first just makes the black easier to blend, and it also creates a gradient. So now we have the yellow, the orange, the brown, and the black tone. So you want to use circular motion to blend the outer part of the eyes. not swiping motion, circular motion to blend the outer part of the eyes, because now we are focusing on a smaller area around the eyes and we want to keep this black and brown just on the outer V part of the eyes. So now I'll be going back to the orange shade I applied earlier and I'll just be using this to blend properly. So you can also go back to the first blending brush you used previously to just blend again, apply and then blend again. This just gives a pro finish. Now moving on to the shimmery eyeshadows, this is what we are going to apply on the inner corners of the eyelids, and I'll be using my finger to apply this first one because it's easier to use my finger than using a brush for this particular eyeshadow. Moving on to the second shimmery eyeshadow, this is like a gold shade and I'll be using a flat brush to apply this because I noticed that some eyeshadows it is easier to use your fingers to apply them and some it is best to use a flat brush. Going back to the second blending brush, the one I used to apply the brown shade, I'm going to use this to blend out any harsh line around the shimmery and outer V area of the eyes, and I'll also be blending around the crease area also. For this, you don't need to dip your blending brush into any more eyeshadow. You just have to work with whatever that's left on the blending brush. You can even use a clean blending brush for this. All you want to do is make sure there are no harsh lines and demarcation between the shimmery shades and also the matte eyeshadows. And for my eyeliner, I have been using my mascara for my eyeliner. I don't know if you've done this before, but it is really amazing using your mascara as your eyeliner. Moving on to the bottom part of my eyes, I'll just be recreating whatever I did on my eyelids on the bottom part of my eyes. That is using the yellow, the orange, the brown and also the black, using a very detailed brush. This brush is small, and now I'll also be applying the shimmery eyeshadow on the inner corners. That's the tear duct area of the eyes, the same one I applied on the inner part of my eyes. I'll be applying this on the tear duct area of my eyes using a small brush. There you have it, guys. Now you know the proper way to apply and blend your eyeshadow like a pro. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Leave down your comments and your questions in the comment section down below, and please subscribe to my channel if you're not yet a subscriber. See ya.